What's up everybody? This is Colin Rich, and today I want to talk through some practical uses of thirds. It's something that we're hearing a lot in popular music. It's all over the place, honestly, and it's very, very simple. So I'm actually going to split this into two different parts. The first one, I'll be showing you thirds, the immediate third of the root. So we'll play the root of the chord and then that third right there. In the next video, we're going to cover playing the root with the third an octave higher, which is very, very obviously similar. It's a different sound with that third being an octave higher, but it's still something that's very popular at the moment, and you're hearing it all over the place. So for today, we're going to work in the key of G. I think that G is a very easy key to do this in. Obviously, it works in any key. But this is where I've chosen to start, and I think that this is going to give you a good foundation to start exploring this, whether you use a capo or you start utilizing this in different places of the neck. So to start off, we're going to start on the one, the G chord. We've got a couple of different options here, choosing where we're going to start and finish. But generally, the way that I do this more often is actually playing my root on the A string and then the third on the D string. Now I realize you could do that on the E and A strings, and your shapes are going to be exactly the same. It's just going to change how low you can go in the scale or how high you can go using the A string. So let's get rolling. So we're going to start off on the one chord, or the G. And so you're going to put yourself on the 10th fret of the A string and the 9th fret of the D string. Very, very simple. You're only going to be using those two. You could always, if you wanted, the G being your one, you could ring your G string open, and so that can give you some nice textures and some other flavors depending on what chord you're currently playing. So again, we'll play the G or the one right here. So from there, we're going to walk it up to the 2, which is going to be an A minor in the key of G. So this time we're going to have our ring finger on the 12th fret of the A string and our index finger on the 10th fret of the D string. From there, we're going to move up to the 3, which would be a B, and we're going to keep that exact same shape from that A. It's just going to slide up 2 frets. So you're now going to have your ring finger on the 14th fret of the A string and your index finger on the 12th fret of the D. So that'll sound like this. So from there, we're going to move to the 4 chord, or the C chord, in the key of G. You've got a couple of different options here. We can continue working up the neck, or we can actually bring ourselves down an octave. It just depends on what you need and exactly what you're looking for. For this application, I'm going to go ahead and come down the neck. We could have come down the neck for the 3 as well. So for that 4 chord, or your C, this should be very comparable to playing a normal C that you would be playing within the key of G, but we're just going to leave a couple of notes out. Remember, we're only doing the root with that third, and occasionally using that open G just to create some different flavor. So here we go on that C chord. And so if it's not clear what I was playing there, I've got my middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string and my index finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. Super common, super simple shape. So for the 5 or the D chord, we're actually going to take that same shape and we're going to move it up 2 frets. So that'll put our middle finger on the 5th fret of the A string and our index finger on the 4th fret of the D string. So if you notice there, I was able to play a 3 chord actually coming down. I know earlier in the video I played it higher up on the neck, but here it's very, very simple. Basically, I just used my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I played the D string open. So you're not fretting anything there. It's nice and simple and easy to throw in. So moving on, from that 5 chord, we're going to go to the 6 chord, which would be an E. And we're going back into this shape where we've got a whole step difference between our 2 fingers. So for this one, we've got our ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string and our index finger on the 5th fret of the D. Nice and simple. And so the last chord for this is going to be our 7 chord. It's going to be the exact same shape as the 6 chord, the E chord that we played, but we're going to move that up 2 frets for our F sharp or our 7 chord. So that's going to put our ring finger on the 9th fret of the A string and our index finger on the 7th fret of the D string. And so that'll sound like this. I'll show you the chord and then I'm going to work my way through each of the chords. So it's a nice and simple way to voice those chords out. It's very clean because you're only using the 2 notes and occasionally using that open G string, just depending on what you're looking for. And this is, there's a couple of different applications for this. I know in some faster songs, maybe with a little more drive, you'll hear stuff more like where they're kind of playing the chords together or the 2 notes together rather than kind of picking around them like I was. So that would be maybe something like this. So you could use it in an application like that. I mean, you could just drive through those same chords. Or you could use it in a very soft, light kind of way, maybe with some, let's put some delay and reverb on, and we'll kind of work through some of those chords that we were playing earlier. So it's nice and simple. There's a lot of different applications for it. This is just a very entry-level perspective and approach to start utilizing some of this and getting yourself familiar with the different shapes that you'll be using and the way that you'll work through these chords. But yeah, I mean, this applies to all of the keys. It's very easy to use, whether you use a capo or you put these chords kind of on maybe some different strings or different places of the neck. But yeah, and like I said earlier, we're going to work through this same idea next week, but I'm going to put that third an octave higher than it just was. So we'll be working through that. There's some other really cool applications for that as well. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that this kind of opens up some ideas for your playing. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you would, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so that you'll get notified anytime that a new video gets posted. All the nice YouTube stuff that we say all the time. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you've learned something from this video. So I'm Colin Rich, and I hope you have a great day.